Well, the comeback attempt falls short.
So much pain! So much pain!
Yo, what's up, world? Welcome back to the channel. APW Sports signing in, and it's unfortunate that I got to do another one of these reactions after a heartbreaking Bears loss. There's so much to cover, so much to dive into. Going from this game, it's a lot to talk about. But before I do my full reaction to this ball game, make sure you guys leave this video a like, as it always continues to help the channel to grow and it beats the algorithm. And if you are one of the people that are not subbed, go ahead, click the sub button and notification bell so you will not miss any of the content that I post. But time to react to the 29-22 loss. Without further ado, let's dive into it. Well, this game was a whirlwind roller coaster of emotions, to say the least. The Vikings looked absolutely unstoppable on offense their first three offensive possessions. 3 touchdowns. Bears couldn't stop a nosebleed. They just couldn't do it in the first, mainly in that first half. They couldn't stop a nosebleed. And offensively, we start the game with a delay of game. How inept do you have to be to start off a football game, play one of your offensive series, with a delay of game because you are unorganized? That is absolutely blasphemous to do.
That is blasphemous. That is blasphemous.
Offensively, first half especially, you get a drive, you get going, and bam, drop pass, miss throw by Fields, and then you get a false start penalty, sets you back, and you kick a field goal. And it looked early as if the Bears offense was starting to get a little bit of rhythm, a little bit. They were driving, but the Vikings turn around and score again, and the defense looked bad. The defense looked absolutely terrible in that first half. Couldn't stop the run. Justin Jefferson was having an absolute field day in the first half. And Kirk Cousins started off the game 17 of 17. That is blasphemous in its own right.
That is blasphemous. That is blasphemous.
It doesn't help that Jalen Johnson, which is one of the better cover corners in the league, is out. So you're starting Vildor, a rookie, in Jalen Jones, and Brisker in the backfield as a safety. You have Kyler Gordon as well as a rookie. With the loss of Jalen Johnson, that makes your secondary even younger, and Justin Jefferson was having an absolute field day on this Bears defense in the first half. An absolute field day. Dalvin Cook was making plays. Alexander Madison. Thielen had a couple of nice catches. Osborne, he showed up again and had some nice catches first half. And this game looked like it was getting completely out of hand that fast.
Not like this.
But the Bears were able to get a little bit of momentum. They were able to get a stop. Then they turn around and they get a touchdown before half. And that is something that this Bears team absolutely needed, especially going up against the Vikings team that was looking like that in the first half. You had to do something. Justin Fields is running for his life. Still at times. At times, he's still running for his life. The offensive line, protection-wise, it has some moments where they held up, and you still see the problems with this Bears passing game. They're in shotgun a lot, number one. The receivers are not really getting open so much, that's two. And the running game for the Bears was not very good today. And that is something that is unexpected. The running game for the Bears was not up to par to what we've been seeing from them throughout the course of these first 4 games of the year. The running game was not where it usually was. The one thing I want to talk about in that first half, of course, is that absolutely beautiful, amazing, stupendous, whatever word you want to use to describe it, that catch by Darnell Mooney, catch of the year nominee. That was an absolutely beautiful catch. Absolutely beautiful to snag it one hand, grab the second hand to secure the football, and that set them up on that touchdown drive with David Montgomery to cut the lead to 21-10. Probably one of the best catches I've seen anybody in a Bear uniform make in my lifetime. That was an absolutely amazing catch. It was a good throw by Justin Fields. It was the coverage was on him, but Darnell Mooney made the proper adjustment and made a beautiful catch to set up that David Montgomery rushing touchdown to give the Bears a little bit of momentum. And of course, they had a missed field goal by Minnesota to end the first half. The Bears came out on that next possession, got a little bit more momentum. Velus Jones with his first career catch and first career touchdown. That set up the Bears in position, but they missed a 2-point conversion. And then on that first drive, defensively, they started to get it together. They started to make some adjustments to what the Vikings were throwing at them. They were able to slow down Justin Jefferson for the most part. Madison and Cook were still being productive. This Bears defense throughout the course of these first 4 games has been a second half defense. They had not allowed a touchdown in the second half up until this game. They made the proper adjustments on both sides of the ball, and they were able to come back in this game. Offensively, the passing game did look a little bit better, at least from what we've seen the first few weeks. Kmet was getting involved a little bit. Equinemius St. Brown had a catch. It's just the Bears are devoid of a lot of weapons. The pocket starts to break down a little bit quicker than most offensive lines, especially, I think the weakest link of this Bears offensive line is Sam Mustipher at that center position. He looked bad. He looked absolutely bad. And then you have a rookie left tackle, a late round rookie left tackle that was getting beat. Danielle Hunter had some pressure. Darius Smith had some pressure. This offensive line just still doesn't have the continuity to sustain some of that protection for Justin Fields. Now, we give credit to Justin Fields for being an absolutely athletic guy, for being him. He has them eyes in the back of his head. He was able to escape a lot of that unblocked pressure to get some creative yards and get some of those unscripted plays. It's just this Bears offensive line didn't hold up great, and the receivers just aren't really getting open. Darnell Mooney is the only thing that you really have at this wide receiver position. And it started to show when Justin Fields needed to make some of those throws. They weren't really there because the receivers are just not creating any separation. Now, it's the defensive side of the ball. Travis Gibson, he was just playing some really good football. We need Robert Quinn to show up. Eddie Jackson was all over the field. It's just the fact of this run defense for the Bears is still not good. It is just not a very good run defense. And when you have Madison and Cook, 2 backs that the Vikings like to spell in and out and just run down your throats, and Justin Jefferson, they would slow them down, but the running game for the Vikings started to get going, and some of those run blitzes started to really backfire when they left lanes open, and they were able to get some chunk yardage. And then the interception by Kendall Verdor, I didn't even know that was the first interception of his career, and he's been with the Bears for a while. I didn't know that till the broadcast said that was his first career interception. Mind-boggling, right? It's just the fact of Bears secondary it's just young. It is just really young when you don't have Jalen Johnson. And inexperience started to show a little bit with some of the penalties and some of the blown and some of the missed coverages, able the Vikings to drive down the field on their last drive in order to take the lead. The running game was starting to get going. They started to convert those third downs, and that was the key in this game for the Bears, especially in the second half. The Vikings were converting some of those third down, and the Bears just could not get off of the field on that last drive. To be 17, 18 plays, they just could not get off of the field on third down. And that is partly what cost us on this last drive. You could not get off the field. If they had stopped one of those third downs, maybe even the fourth down, maybe we're talking about a whole different ball game. And it was already crazy that the Bears, they still fought enough, they still willed themselves to be even in the ball game to even take the lead in the first place. We're talking about a Bears team that still has fight. They're not as talented as Minnesota, and it's clear as day, but we're talking about a Bears team that still has absolute fight, and without that fight, they would not have been in this ball game. So I'm gonna give Eberflus the credit and the culture that he's starting to create with this Bears team, because they just don't give up. They don't give up. They may not be as talented They may not have that top tier talent, but the effort, the will to win, the will to fight is just there. It's just the Bears just don't have any talent. Well, not any talent, but they're not as talented as a lot of teams they're going to face this year. And that will and that competitive spirit was able to keep the Bears in this ball game. Offensively, the passing game was a little bit better than what we probably would have expected later on in that second half. They were able to connect on some shots. Darnell Mooney was able to get some open looks. It's just the other receivers have to step up. Now, defensively, they made the adjustments to the run game. They made some adjustments to Justin Jefferson that was able to also keep the Bears in this ball game. They slowed down the running game a tad. Overall, at the end of the day, the Bears team still has fight. Justin Fields, I mean, he was running for his life. That 52-yard run that was called back, that was a sale job. That was an absolute sell job by Dantzler. I will give Dantzler the credit for that because that's just how the league calls it. Even though it was a little bit of a hold, but he sold that. That could have changed the ball game completely and probably put the ball game away. Before I get out of here, I just got to touch on Smith for a sec. What are you doing?
I know you like this nigga here.
Dinkelberg.
Okay, you made the first guy miss. You're in a late game situation. You have one timeout. You're not really going to get any extra yardage. Get out of bounds. What are you doing? Get out of bounds.
You're fired.
Get out of bounds and live to fight another day. Instead, you're still trying to fight for those extra yards. Know the situation. Get out of bounds. The Bears were moving on that drive. The Bears were starting to move, and they had some potential to possibly tie the ball game. We would never know because he needs to know the situation. Get out of bounds. You can't be fighting for those extra yards. You're not really, it's a late game situation. You have one timeout. You're under the 2-minute warning. You have to know the situation. Get out of bounds. And that sealed the ball game when Dantzler stripped him. That sealed the ball game. The Bears had chances to pull off the comeback. They didn't make third down stops on the last drive. Offensively, they started to kick field goals, and that is not necessarily going to win you a lot of ball games. Instead of converting some of those drives that you're getting into touchdowns, some of the penalties killed the Bears. It's just the fact of you have to know the football situation. You have to know the time of the clock. You have to know what's going on. You have to be aware of your surroundings. I say leave him in Minnesota with that mistake. At the end of the day, the Bears showed some grit. The Bears showed some fight, especially after that terrible looking first half. They were able to come back. They even took the lead, but at the end of the day, they didn't make enough stops on third down, and they didn't slow down the game enough for them to actually win this game. And then the mistake happened with Brissett not getting out of bounds, and that cost us. But I will give the Minnesota Vikings credit. I didn't pick the Bears to begin with, so the Bears' loss is not as shocking, but it's just the way it happened. This team has just had a way of elevating your blood pressure, for Christ's sake. But at the end of the day, the Bears fall to 2-3 with a 29-22 loss on the road. We turn around and play right back on Thursday. Before I get out of here, you guys probably already know my schedule is going to be a little bit adjusted as far as uploading and content, so just make sure you guys stay tuned for that. But that's all I've got. Leave this video a like, as it always helps this channel to grow. And comment your thoughts down below about this contest. What did you see? What do you think? And as always, click the sub button and notification bell so you will not miss any of the content that I post. But I am a disappointing man. APW Sports signing out after another Bears loss. Make sure you guys stay safe. Have a great and excellent day, and I will see you guys soon. Peace.